In this presentation, we're going to take a look at writing the problem statement, what's in that problem statement, which we can also call an introduction, where to place your research question that you've already written and submitted to me and to Dr. Valerie, and we'll begin a brief overview of methods so that you can start thinking about what that means. We will work on the methods and design instruments when we meet again in class face-to-face. First, let's quickly review what the structure of your proposal to write a thesis is going to look like. Your research proposal will contain a statement of the problem, its purpose, and your research question. That will be the first section, or chapter 1 if you like. Then you will include your review of the literature. You've already written that, and we'll just tweak that if we add additional resources. We'll talk about that again in a few minutes. Then you will include a methods section in which you state what it is you plan to do, with whom you plan to do it. Those are the participants and the instruments that you will be using, the protocols and so on that we've talked about in class. And then finally, you will include a proposed analysis of data. Today, we're going to talk about the statement of problem and the methods section. Just a quick reminder here, your proposal is about something you were going to do, research you're going to do in the future. And so your voice should reflect that. The verb tenses you use will be future tenses in describing your project, what you will be doing, what you intend to find out at some point in the future. The problem statement is your introduction to your overall proposal. In fact, you're going to label it introduction instead of the problem statement. Most likely, you could use either one. Let's look at some of the elements that have to be included or need to be included in a well-written problem statement. Just like any other paper, you're going to introduce your topic, you're going to state the general topic, you're going to provide a little bit of background in not great depth, because you will do that that's included in your literature review. You're going to define the terms and the scope of the topic. If you have particular terms that you use, this is a good place to include them, or that you found in your research that you believe readers won't know or understand. You can outline the way things currently are. You can evaluate, and the key here is to evaluate that current situation and identify the gap. That gap has got to be firmly identified by its boundaries, where you're going to do your research. You're going to identify the importance of the proposed research and why other educators and others in the field or policymakers might care about it. You'll state the hypothesis and then end with your research question. Your hypothesis is what you think will happen, what the result will be of your research based on the literature review that you've done so far. Okay? Then you're just going to turn that around and turn it into a question. If you've got a hypothesis, you're not sure how it's going to turn out, then you have a question. That's where your research question goes, and definitely include a subhead that says research question, or questions if you have sub-questions. Your methods section will include a subsection about participants and setting. It will include a subsection about instruments. It will include a subsection about the procedures that will be used. The important thing here is to describe your methods in sufficient detail that somebody else could do the same experiment that you did using the methods that you used. We'll spend more time next week in class designing actual instruments and talking more about this. So at this point, we're just getting you familiar with the idea of what the methods section will include. Remember that most claims that you make in your paper, most arguments, have to be based on solid evidence. That evidence can be in the background work that you did with the literature review, and it can be in the form of the results and findings once you've completed your research, which will be next quarter. So from time to time, you're also going to make assertions in the methods section and in your introduction or problem statement. If you do, and you should, be sure to cite the source and then update your reference list so that you don't forget. The reference list should always match the in-text citations. So keep a running reference list going. Okay, return to Blackboard. There you will find a link to a short article about methods sections. It's from Australia, but the ideas are pretty much universal in any research institution around the world. And then there's a short quiz just to help you cement some of those ideas. Your main goal is to get your problem statement or introduction written up so that you can submit a draft to me next Saturday, the 20th.